Introducing the PDC World Darts Championship.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Fallout Bar. Day 17 in the books now at the PDC World Darts Championship for 2026. And it's the last day on this side of the new year. We are joined, as ever, by Corwin Evans down below, but we'll come to you first of all. Dave, how are you again? Mate, good to have you back.
Great. Yeah, happy to be back. Yeah, what a day of darts, and we're really starting to get into it where there's no more, no more throwaway matches. There's no more long shot underdogs getting up there and getting, pelted for a handful of sets or 30-minute matches. We're in for, I think, a lot of marathons and set play goes up in terms of how many we're playing. It's starting to get really fun, starting to feel real, and that's kind of, the New Year's that stopgap to where things start to feel real. So yeah, really excited.
Yeah, definitely. Corwin, we are down to a final 8, but while they are all delighted to be in the final 8 of the World Championship, nobody's happier than you today, are they?
No, I can categorically say this has been my favourite day of the tournament. Possibly up there in the top 4 days of the year, and I can give you my top 4 reasons why if you want. I could possibly stretch to 64 reasons, but we top 4.
Do we start with the first one? It is official. Rob Owen is dark green in the Turcard race.
Unbelievable. As in, I've sweated and stressed, so I can only imagine how...
He's probably been calmer than you, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it probably was, actually, because obviously it's out of his hands. There's nothing he can do, and it's because it's been such an amazing tournament for underdog stories and upsets. It feels like this was... I felt like this was never going to happen. I just had a feeling that we were going to have another sort of twist to the story, and I felt like Justin Hood securing his top 64 place. Was it yesterday or the day before? Was in the days all into one now. That was sort of like a story nobody much was expecting, and then you had the Clayton Harrison match today with obviously interest on both ends there, and then Charlie Mambv coming afterwards. But yeah, as in, I'm glad for Rob that he's sort of been able to retain his tour card, but the hard work starts again now in January, and obviously, hopefully next year it won't be the Rob Owen tour card watch we'll be keeping an eye on.
No, hopefully it's done and dusted a lot earlier, but yeah, it's massive for him because we know you can be the best player in the world at Q School and not get through it, so having that risk taken away is massive for him. Let's get into the darts from today then, and started off. I'll come to you first of all again, Corwin, I think, really, because I'm pretty sure you called this bang on last night, didn't you?
I've had a mind blank. What was the first game this afternoon?
What's wrong with me? Ratajski, 4-2.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Sorry.
It just feels quite a long time ago now.
I've had a lot of blood pressure issues since then.
This one had no relevance to the Rob Owen tour card. So probably not one that you were massively concerned around, but I'm fairly sure that you did call this one right.
I did, but I think I did give Woodhouse a third set. But you know what? As in, it was a funny old game, and I hate to use the same phrase time after time after time, but you know I'm going to go there.
You will.
Ratajski just did the right thing at the right time, and Woodhouse just couldn't quite do that right thing at the right time, really. As in, when you look at the stats, you're sort of wondering, how has he only averaged 91? Because 10 180s, he's massively outscored him in the 180 column, and just it was. I think it'll be one Woodhouse will be slightly frustrated with, because I think this was a game where he probably, obviously you expect to win or you don't play that, but he'd have been looking beyond this game, I think. And I think the fact that his tournament's ended today will hurt a bit, because I feel like he'll look back and think, I've probably left a game or two up on that stage.
Yeah, definitely. And it was one of those for me, Dave, watching it. It felt like this was a little bit below par from Luke Woodhouse. We've sort of seen him steadily around the sort of mid 95, 96 sort of average generally, around about 40% on the doubles. And it was just a little bit below that in this one. And it allowed Ratajski to take advantage. But another really impressive performance from Ratajski. And for me, the 140 hitting was sort of the difference. That consistent 2 treble hitting from Ratajski just allowed him to outscore Woodhouse and give himself more opportunities.
Yeah, I've been kind of trying to figure out why it feels like Ratajski is, pretty comfortably the most under the radar, least talked about quarterfinalist we have remaining. And you just kind of look at his run. While he's not beating any name brand household like shocking upsets, he's beating really steady tour card holders along the way, which is not easy to do because you have to be steadier than they are. I mean, Alexis Toilo is a pretty tough first round draw for when it comes to playing against the qualifier. Ryan Joyce is as steady as they come. He had a bit of a stinker against him, but that's still no easy contest. Wesley Plaizer was playing the darts of his life, and for those who have been watching on the floor, had a really good year in 2025. And now Luke Woodhouse, who, maybe wasn't at his best, but Christoph, right things, right time, kind of just stuck in there and gave that, he's been above 96 in 3 of his 4 showings. He was at a 94 against Ryan Joyce. It's just what you're going to get, and he's showing that he's one of those players that has a really, really high floor, and he's going to give you a game. I don't know if he has the ceiling to compete with Luke Littler in the next round. But, man, I almost think he's bang on to get at least set. I feel pretty confident that he could get 2 just because he doesn't dip very low below that 90 average. And if Luke has an offset or 2, he's going to make him pay. So, kudos to him and deservedly into the quarterfinal.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's really impressive from him. He seems to be back to his best, which is obviously really good for him and good to see. And I feel like we almost need to stop calling it a free hit now. But every time anyone rocks up against Littler, you think, well, everyone's expecting you to get smashed anyway. Like, go out there, play your game, and see what happens.
And I think that's the thing at the moment, isn't it, with Luke Littler, is to compete with him in a set, he needs to have 3 off legs. He's not really doing that, and it's more of a case of his opponents are finding 3 good legs to win a set. And I think that's why we've probably said after or before each Littler match it's a free hit for his opponent, because I think it's hard to see anybody getting close to him over a longer format. I think the longer the tournament goes, the harder it is to beat him, because it's more poor legs and poor sets you need him to have. I think your best chance of beating Littler is in the opening round. He's a bit cold.
Probably in the opening leg, and that's about it.
Yeah. And I think, Ratajski probably averaged 95 to 98, let's say, and he probably will win a set or 2. But I think I think that'll probably be his lot. I would also say, though, I don't think Luke Littler is Ratajski's competition at the moment. He's got battles around him to sort of stay in that top 32, and I'm glad to see him back in there. But I think the reason, to back to what you, Dave, said there, I think the reason he's sort of gone under the radar is he does nothing special, and probably until that comeback against Big Wes, you could have easily forgotten he wasn't in the tournament. And that's not sort of disrespecting Ratajski in any shape or form. It's just because he does what we expect and nothing flashy or nothing more than that. And I think that's what makes him dangerous, really. As in, you look at sort of some players similar, maybe in style and similar just in personalities, and just get on with it. Sort of your Andy Hamiltons, your James Wade to an extent. They just do what they're good at.
Andy
And that's
Hamilton
it.
on my bingo card for tonight's show. I'll be
Yeah.
honest.
Anthony Hamilton. No, Andy Hamilton. Yeah, Andy Hamilton. Yeah, sorry.
Confusing
sports now.
That is.
It's a snooker player. It's been a long day.
It is. Yeah, you are right.
Sorry, a lot of darts watch, a lot of house cleans, but yeah, a great result for Ratajski.
Yeah, very much so. Right,
and
I've got a clip. Go on, Dave.
I was just going to say one thing that I've been looking at is because he had that, the brain aneurysm and was kind of, wasn't able to get a lot of money racked up in 2024, which will now be his defending year going into next year. 98,000 banked from 2024. He's up to 224,500 this year. And he's up now he was 37th, I believe, when this tournament started. He's up to 28th. I mean, if he's feeling good, which he said in these pressers going into 2026, top 16 is not out of the equation for Christoph if he can put it together on the floor and maybe make a few TV quarters or major semis, things like that.
Yeah, definitely not. He's in a really good position, like you say, because he's not defending a lot of money. He got a good year again, and he's sort of catapults himself up there quite quickly. We have got a clip from him, which we will listen to now. Full clips from all the winners will be on the YouTube channel for you to watch once we're done. But here's Christoph Ratajski speaking to Phil after his win.
Yes, it's the biggest challenge you can imagine, of course. He's the best player, he's a world champion, so it's a sport, it's a dart, everything is possible. What can I expect on this match? I expect that Luke Littler will play his game 100 plus, 105 plus, 110 plus. We can expect everything from Luke Littler, but not low, but very high. So I know I must play my best game. We will see. It's a sport. It's a dart. We will see.
It's a sport. It's a dart.
Yeah, I'm very realistic.
Yeah, he's not saying I'm going to beat him.
Let's see.
Yeah, that's it. Fair enough. Well, on to game number 2 of the afternoon session. And we had, starting off, obviously this was the big one for the old Johnny Clayton, Johnny Clayton top 4 watch, but also the Rob Owen tour card watch. And I have to apologise to Dave here because I've royally cocked this up, and I'm coming to you again, Carwin, as the Wales correspondent. But this one, stressful watching for a little while. Johnny, not anywhere near his best, but when it mattered, able to get it done and get over the line.
Yes, and that 5th set was such a roller coaster of emotions. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. I went from cursing everything under the sun, as in apologies to Sweden. I said some things I probably shouldn't have during that 5th set.
I heard you were shouting at the meatballs, were you?
Yeah, the meatballs got it. I threatened to never listen to ABBA Gold again, as in, I went through it all. So then at the end of that set, sort of being like, thanking them for not being able to hit that winning double. But you know what? As in, I really felt that Johnny Clayton would have a test here, and I thought it would be on his mind that the top 4 was there to be taken, and he's banged on a lot about being back in the Premier League, and I understand why you'd want to, but I feel like he's taking away from what he could achieve at the Worlds by thinking like that. And again, I feel like it was a test he needed, because obviously Ryan Searle up next will be just a bigger test. But he could have done it a bit easier on everybody in Wales. and their blood pressure by just not stressing us out in that 5th set. But, great win for Johnny, up in the top 4 now. And, as in, no spoilers, but with what we'll be discussing later on, there's now another incentive for winning that quarterfinal match on New Year's Day. But job done, and we'll probably need to be a bit better come the quarterfinal.
Yeah, definitely we'll need to up it. A couple of points for you here, Dave, on this one. Firstly, as Carwin sort of touched on, Johnny mentioning the Premier League and being back in it rather than sort of talking about the Worlds. Is that just a bit of a sort of coping mechanism with trying to take the pressure off at this tournament a little bit and not talk about winning it, even though he's definitely going to be thinking about it?
Yeah, and I don't know if that even would work, at least for me, because adding that layer onto it almost feels like it'd be more pressure-filled when there's multiple things that you're playing for. I mean, a lot of these guys are already playing for the money. They're playing for the legacy. There's already, their families. There's a lot wrapped into it already. So to add things like Premier League, things like getting into the top 4, and even beyond if he can keep winning, it seemed like it was on his mind. I think a lot of guys would brush that off, after play when it's discussed, but he seemed like really relieved in his interview on stage with Sky and then post-match, afterwards. So yeah, good on him. I think maybe that played into, the slightly lower average from him and some nervy darts, but man, his ton plus finishing, I know he only had 2, but he had some clutch ones and just his doubling when he needs it. Like, he has this tendency, I think, to play to the level of his competition. Whether it's a big hitter, he'll play up to them. If it's someone a little bit lesser than, he might play down to them. But when rubber hits the road and he needs to kind of figure it out and just drift away from the opponent in those clutch moments, he's pretty dang good at it. And we've kind of seen that throughout this tournament. I mean, the Lipscomb match, not so much. Definitely against Niels, he was able to really kind of figure it out, and that was a 98 average. So yeah, it's really interesting how he, like, I feel like he's always right around the average of his opponents. He doesn't blow people out of the water too often, but he'll definitely, like Carwin said, he will need to be better against the only player at the World Championship who has not dropped a set yet, Ryan Searle. So
Ryan Searle, the darling of the chat room yesterday. He was getting a lot of love in the chat room yesterday. The other point on this one, yes, it's not ended like it has for Justin Hood, but for Andreas Harrison, regardless of the fact that he's not got a tour card here, this is still a really, really sort of impressive performance from him in a really solid tournament, and to walk away with his head held very much high on this one, Dave.
Yeah, I agree. I would also like to correct myself. Dom Taylor is another player at this tournament who has not dropped a set yet. So
that's a good point.
So the second player who has not dropped a set yet.
Dropped a bollock, but maybe not.
Yeah, not a technically not a set. Yeah, no, but I agree. Yeah, for sure.
He may end as the only player not to drop a set, more than likely. For Harrison, did he just run out of steam a little bit in the end? Did it just all get a bit too much? Just the relentless nature of Johnny Clayton just always being there?
Yeah, and I feel a bit like maybe at 2-0 up and that 5th set, did he start to think about the top 64 and the tour card? Because his level seemed to just disappear. Because up until that point, his doubling had been very good, and he was sort of taking out 2 darters, 3 dart checkouts, and he wasn't really giving Clayton a chance to come back to the Yoki. But sort of from that point on, he just lost everything. And I don't know what his average was sort of for the last set and a half, but it felt like it sort of just disappeared, and it's a sad way for him to end.
All that bad in the final set. The 5th set was a dip. That sort of, he dropped down to low 80s in that one, but the final set, he was still sort of 92, 93 around that sort of level, which is not horrendous by any means. But yeah, it's just getting that close to a card probably going to hurt a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's still a really successful tournament, plenty of money in the bank, and he's someone that's going to have a massive, massive chance of making it through Q School.
And he's also sort of
We have a clip.
sorry, just before you play the clip, on Harrison, he's pushed to now world number 4 to a 5th lead decider in all sets that he lost today. So it's not like he's been blown away, as in he's been competitive along the way. So I hope we see him on tour. I really hope we see him on tour because he's a great player and he'll upset a few people on tour.
Yeah, absolutely. Fully with you on that one. Let's hear from Johnny Clayton then before we get into the final game of the afternoon session and one of the performances of the day.
Yeah, of course I have. You know, it's so would anybody else. You know, it's a W is 100k in the bank to start off, and world number 4 could be, you know, good things to come in next year with invitations. So yeah, obviously there's things in my mind, but I've done my job for today, and I'm glad of that.
We know, obviously, when you say things to come, we know you're talking about the Premier League. Why does the Premier League mean so much to you? I remember in the other interviews you said the Premier League means more to you than playing here. What's so special about that tournament for you?
I love it. It's the best tournament. You're playing against the elite, week in, week out. You get to the finals night, and you've obviously done a very good job through those 16 weeks. So, yeah, it means everything to me.
You're playing against the elite. This is saying, you just play shite when you come here. You're absolute rubbish players when you come to the Worlds. The elite only play in the Premier League.
I disagree with that clip, and I love Johnny to bits, but as in, you cannot be saying that when you're sort of quarter-final of the World Championship. It is...
Especially as you say, as the world number 4 as he is now, someone that should absolutely be thinking about winning this.
Yeah, as in, I don't want to sort of...
Obviously, he's already got that one in the trophy cabinet that he's won the Premier League. He doesn't want to downplay it because he may very well never win a Worlds, but he has won a Premier League. So if he says that's the best tournament to play in, then it looks good on his mantelpiece.
Yeah, but he could still slip out of the top 4.
He could.
I think he's just doing maybe a little bit of math on if that does slip out, and then maybe he's just trying to vouch himself a little bit. Like, I love your tournament, please.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what it sounds like to me.
I don't know if he makes it if he's not in the top 4. It's a bit of a headache, but obviously I'd like to see him in there. I'd like to see him in the final of the Worlds and win that and add to his cabinet, not just get a second Premier League.
I guarantee you 100% that if he does do that, that when he talks about what his favourite competition is, it will be the World Championship at that point.
Yeah, because what's better, 16 weeks in random cities across Europe or £1 million in your bank?
I mean, what sounds better anyway? Premier League champion or World champion? It's just better, isn't it?
But then they'll announce him as the defending world champion and former Premier League winner, not just Premier League winner. So I disagree with that statement from him, but each their own.
We're gonna have to get Barzy quickly on a new graphic here. Tarwin Evans bashes fellow Welshman Johnny Clayton for his comments after win.
Yeah, watch this recording being taken down and never seen after this live.
That's it. You might be never seen again in Wales after this. After seeing that Johnny Clayton, you may be gone. Right, final game of the afternoon and a ridiculous performance. Let's be honest. 11 out of 11 on the double to start this game from Justin Hood. There were questions in our group chat earlier what the greatest start of doubling was in any World Championship game. None of us, I think, actually knew the answer or managed to find the answer, but we're pretty certain that 11 out of 11 has got to be the best we've ever seen in terms of starting a game. And it took him to one leg away from victory, and then he missed 4 in a row to win it. And had to play another leg. Piss poor Justin Hood, regardless of the rest of the performance. Rubbish because he didn't go 12 from 12. Agree, Dave?
Yeah, so I'm looking at the highest averages of the tournament so far, and Justin Hood is on here twice from today, and this is like the top like 15ish. I'm looking on Wikipedia, and today was within the top 15, and then against Danny Knopper it was top 5, and you could make a case because it's not all about the averages that those are the two best performances relative to expectation of the tournament by anyone. Both of those, the Danny Noppert match and then this. This was like shot out of a cannon. This might be the performance of the year. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like I was so convinced that, all right, this has been a fun little run. Now he's playing someone legit. Josh Rock has serious levels to his game where this could get ugly really quick. I really thought Josh was going to win 4-0, 4-1, like pretty convincingly. Because Justin Hood, we've seen him on tour all year. It just hasn't quite been there. He's played like a guy debuting on tour, which is fine. He's been good. He was, had a decent run at Players Championship Finals. Like he's shown some levels, but not this. This was ridiculous. And I'm done like doubting him. I don't know what he's going to do in the next round. I don't care who he's playing. It's just like I'm done betting against him. Throw everything out the window that we knew before the Worlds. I don't know if he's done a little tweak that he loves with his throw or if he's playing more carefree. I have no idea what he's doing, but he needs to keep doing it because the sky is the limit at this point. I give up on trying to predict how a Justin Hood match is going to go now that we're I believe I'm 0-4 against him to start the tournament. So
so solid work from us all, really. I think it's one of those we've sat here on most nights trying to pick a reason that it doesn't continue, that it won't carry on, that like now he'd secured his tour card, maybe the focus won't be the same. Like the pressure of getting the tour card the round before, we were like, well, that might put him off. But he just keeps running through it, doesn't he, Carvin? He just keeps putting those doubts to bed and doing it in a remarkably sort of like convincing fashion.
As in, it is fast becoming one of the greatest love stories of 2025. And bearing in mind, millions of people celebrated Taylor Swift getting engaged. Justin Hood and Ali Pali is on the verge of topping that. I think he's been a breath of fresh air. He's up there. The cameras don't bother him. He's sticking his tongue out. He's playing a bit with his nipples. He's showing us his belly. As in, he's literally living the dream that most darts players up and down the country, or across the world, I should say, would love to have a go at. And I think it's been outstanding. As in, most people, I think, would have called this in favour of Rock, maybe giving Hood a set or two. I know a few in the comments went rogue and predicted that Hood would win, but I think they all went 4-3. So nobody expected this performance. And to be fair to Rock, he didn't do much wrong. As in, if you looked at Rock's stats isolated, you probably think he's either won or he may have lost 4-3. As in, that's the sort of numbers he produced. But Hood was just insane. As in, I think there were more boos when he missed the dart for the double than when somebody misses the 4th or 5th treble 20 for a 9 darter.
Yeah.
But he just loves it. And whilst I think the fairy tale may come to an end on the opening day in 2026, because, and I'll give my reasoning, the prediction, but I think there's a different kind of pressure on him again. But wow, what a story it's been. As in, coming here, not many of us would have been too familiar with him. I think we're all going into 2026 watching happy feet, be that repeats of his matches or the actual film. As in, he's been a revelation, and what a story! What a story!
Yeah, absolutely, what a story! And look, we all just want a Chinese now, don't we? That's all we want.
Well, with every set he wins,
invested in the Chinese takeaway.
With every set he wins, that Chinese restaurant's a step closer.
Yeah, and that is it. It just keeps getting closer and closer and closer. down in the shadows. Really has to incorporate Shanghai into. Yeah, I've got to say there's got to be some sort of thing. Yeah, guys, you're not calling it the big fish piss poor as well.
But I thought he may go down because a lot of Chinese restaurants are like the Golden Palace, or they got. So I thought he might go Alexandra Palace after this. Last week's. He's got to bring that Ali Pali into somewhere.
It could be Shanghai at the Palace. Oh, that. Could
and I hope in his on the menu, he only uses numbers which are a dart finish, or you can score in dart. As in, I don't see no 159 or
I'll have a 167.
Yeah,
right? But all of a sudden you're just going down it, and there's no 162. There's no 163.
Yeah, don't want none of those nonsense. It's just dart related.
To be fair, you could have a 162. You can score 162. You just can't take it out. So it's a controversial one for putting into the menu. So could take a while, this one. Right, let's listen to him, and then let's get into the evening session.
I think we're there. I don't think I've got a choice in that. I think we're there now. Yeah. I say yes and no. I don't live above my means before this. It's nice to have it in the bank, but I just go out there to throw darts, and the money is a massive bonus. It's all the accolades after that. I want that trophy now.
Love it.
Yeah. I like it. I like that. And this is what we want. This is what we want to hear. No talk of Premier League, no talk of prize money. I want that trophy.
Yeah. It's so exciting. We'll see what happens, but he's that was convincing. I didn't know he said that, and I like hearing that because I think a lot of guys you get that was part of my worry with this match is you get past Christmas and you get maybe further than you thought, and then suddenly you look around and you're like, oh my God, I'm throwing in the back room with a lot of the guys I watched growing up, and I just joined tour. Like everything just catches up to you, and you start feeling like you're ahead of your moment or something, and it just that's what I thought would happen today, and maybe that happens in the quarters. Again, like I said, I give up on trying to guess when he's going to be in over his head, but holy cow, I can't even imagine how he feels right now.
No, exactly, and the way that he's just holding it all together and not. Like I say, not letting the moment become too big for him is really impressive for someone that is, like I say, first time up there and just doing things that nobody expected. So, good on him. And he's got every opportunity now because he's playing as well as anyone. Someone else that's going into this, and again, probably not thinking about money and thinking, I want that trophy, is Jan van Veen, who ended the fairy tale run of Charlie Mambv at his first World Championships as well. 4-1 win in this one, Dave. This one was pretty comfortable, and it was all just down to how well the Jan played, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. I am going to come out and say it. I might get some flack for it. I think Jan van Veen is top 10 in the world. I think he's top 5. I think he's top 4. I think he's top 3, and I think he's top 2.
Ooh,
I think he's the second best player in the world. I do. That's probably going to be a hot take, and that's why I'm so excited for that quarterfinal matchup. He beat him in a major final. He's playing unbelievable. And he is such a, and I'm not saying Humphries doesn't have this. He has such a complete game. He is clutch. He's finally showing clutchness, which I think was maybe the biggest question we had about him before the Euro Championship. That double 16 is probably one of the most clutch darts we've seen all year up to the point. Because Luke was on a very makeable, I want to say he was on like 60 or something when he hit that, and that was a deciding leg. He's got power scoring. When he misses, I believe FDI posted he hits the treble 20 with his first dart like 50% of the time, which is like way beyond everyone else.
He's not just that. He lands it in the spot he needs it as well, like on that bottom.
Right on that bottom wire. Yeah. It's ridiculous. And he just doesn't, the floor level of his game has risen, and he still has that ridiculous ceiling. He's, in my opinion, I just feel like he is the biggest threat to Luke Littler. I know it's splitting hairs. I know Luke Humphries is unbelievable, and I was thinking this after the Van Veen match before Luke Coolhand played, so it's splitting hairs, but man, he is really, really good. And I feel so confident when watching him, and his throw looks as smooth as it's ever looked. I think he's the second best player in the world, and this performance was awesome. And he just looks like he has so much confidence, and I love his mindset. His focus seems to be, like you were saying, on the legacy. He knows the money comes with the legacy. If you're winning these things, you don't have to worry about money.
Yeah, exactly. Money's not the object once you get to the level that he's playing at right now.
Whether he gets the top 4 or not, he's probably in the Premier League. He just looks comfortable. Yeah, I've loved what I've seen from him so far in 2025 and throughout the tournament. I think this proved to me that he's the second best player in the world.
Yeah, and Colin, for Mambv, like I say, it's been a really good run for him to make it all the way to the last 16 in his first ever World Championships. Obviously, he'd have wanted to come through this and win this, but could he have done much more than this, really?
No, I think just on the night, Veen was better, and Mambv can leave the tournament with his head held high. I think he can be happy with how he's pushed Veen. I don't think the scoreline reflects the game. I think Mambv probably played well enough to get a second set, but Veen was just ruthless, and he just every time you thought, "Oh, Mambv's in the set," or "Is this his way back into the game?" Veen just took it away, and he found a 140 or 180, and then pinged that double on the next visit. As in, he was just, and he seems to have grown in confidence over on the stage, and it finally feels like he sees himself as someone who belongs on that stage, and he's not just there to make up the numbers. He is capable of winning any and every tournament he enters, and I think that sort of it's great to see it, really, because we've all seen his ability. It's just that he hasn't delivered it. I feel now we're still seeing that same ability. He's just delivering it on a regular basis, and it wouldn't surprise me if he has to stay in London beyond New Year's Day. I just feel, and this is taking nothing away from Humphries, because I think his performance tonight showed that he's not here to make up the numbers. I just feel like Veen, if it comes to the crunch, I'd bank him to take 100 out in the last leg decider over Humphries if they were both sat on 100 at the moment. But yeah, a great tournament for Mambv. And again, I hope if he does decide to go to Q School, a bit like Harrison, it wouldn't surprise me if we see them both on tour next year, because they've got a consistent level, which hopefully is good enough for them to get on tour. And then once you're on tour, I think your game just improves naturally.
Yeah, 100%.
Last thing I'll say is since, and I know we talked about this on a previous Fallout bar, but since 2 years ago when it started becoming, it wasn't maybe right away, but the two Lukes, we've been begging for that third person to come in and kind of challenge them and make it a bit more of a mix between 3 players rather than just 2 at the top. And I think the closest we got was probably Gezi, maybe earlier this year or at the turn of the year. It felt like he was going to join them, and that hasn't quite happened. This feels like the closest we've come to someone who feels like Justin Hood can maybe make it a square rather than a triangle and get 4 of them involved. Yeah, good point. But you can run the clip. I do have one thing maybe on Charlie Mambv.
Yeah, no problem. We'll listen to Jan and then we'll come back to you on that one.
Maybe. Not for myself. I was always, as long as I'm not world champion and world number 1, I'm not going to call myself one of the elite players, because it's gone so quick this year. You know, at the start of this year, I was number 28, 29 in the world, so I'm not going to call myself one of the elite players. But, you know, maybe in a couple of days I would be in the World Championship final. Then I will be happy to call myself one of the elite players. But so far, I'll keep my feet on the ground and just say I'm a decent player. Yeah, I feel ready for that stuff. You know, of course, before this tournament, I got a lot of media exposure. Winning European Championship, but got a lot of media exposure. But of course, as World Champion, it's going to be even more media. But I think I'll be ready for that. I think, of course, being young, 23 years old,
to see where my game is at the moment. I'll be ready to be a world champion, and if it happens, it happens. If not, I'm already having a successful world championship so far, but I don't think I won't be ready to get all that kind of exposure now.
Decent player.
Premier League, innit? Like just every one of them.
A decent player. Got out the rest
just
of us.
An all right player, yeah. It's not elite. It's not that good. Just
I thought I was decent, and I'm not averaging anything close to 98. Cheers, Jan.
He's so easy to root for. He just, I feel like he always says the right things. Him and I know we just talked about his match previously. Him and Josh Rock are like in my opinion, two of the easiest guys to root for in the sport, and I just think it's in such good hands. Both of them are just unbelievable, and Jan is just out nudged Josh a little bit. I just think he's more reliable, and man, he was awesome today. I honestly, he's becoming the guy I hope wins the whole thing.
Yeah, fully with you on that. Did you have something on Mambv as well? You just wanted to throw in?
Yeah,
as well?
I hadn't watched him much, but I knew his levels, and I've mentioned to you guys I had 100-1 on him to win the quarter, so I was a little sad to see this go crashing and burning today. That was a bit of a lottery ticket pick, but I don't know. He has no method of qualification for tour other than he's gonna have to go to Q school, right? Yeah. I hope he turns up because man, he has these flashes where he looks really, really good. He has a bit of an aura to him. He has a bit of like that swagger that you want. He didn't look scared at any point. I just think it was maybe just his game isn't quite where it needs to be in order to get beyond this point of this tournament. But I really hope we see more of him because man, he's got a bit of that swagger. He's got a really sound looking throw. I thought he had a really, really good tournament, and I was just he just going up against someone far better than him at this moment. But I'd love to see more of him in 2026.
I think if he gets an easier draw, he could have been in the quarterfinal. I just think he's very unfortunate coming up against Veen, who, as you rightly said, is up there in the top in the group of three at the top of the game. So yeah, very unlucky. But yeah, hopefully he gets on tour and we see more of him.
Yeah, definitely. Someone that we are seeing more and more of at this tournament is Gary Anderson, who now moves on into a quarterfinal, having made it look quite comfortable against Michael Van Gerwen, despite Van Gerwen playing relatively well again. The timing from Gary, he was clinical every time that he needed to be. And it was just a really solid performance, this, wasn't it? It wasn't awfully flashy. There was nothing too big about it, but it was professional as ever.
Yeah, we've seen, and I keep waiting because we've seen, especially in some of these TV majors recently, just these puzzlingly weird, like bad non-Gary Anderson-like performances come up, and it's a lot of times it's been against players he should be beating, and he's been more upset prone than probably any point in his career lately. And I think for him, the hard part has been getting past that stage of tournaments, because when he's up against someone where he's up for it, and maybe it is that thing that he talks about not caring, maybe he cares a little bit more when it's against a Michael Van Gerwen or a Luke Littler or Luke Humphries. Now that we're entering that stage of the tournament, I wonder if he just builds up a little bit more, and maybe he becomes a bit of momentum for him, because he can say he doesn't care all he wants in the last 128, 64. It gets to a point where it's like, dude, you're in the quarterfinals of this thing, and you're playing you're playing as good as anyone else in the field. You start caring, because like you could win this whole thing. You have as good of a shot as anyone else. So, and
not only that, you're coming into it, and you're in the other side of the draw than Luke Littler. Yes, you're in with Humphries and Van Veen, but you're playing the lowest ranked player left in the tournament as well. I'm not having that he doesn't care anyway, but at this point, at some point, he's got to admit it himself and say, look, you know what? I want this.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a bold statement now. I think Gary Anderson will be the penultimate name John McDonald calls on the Alexandra Palace stage.
Really?
And he finishes the tournament as world number 3.
So how does that work? If he say because he's said in the past he's done playing in the Premier League, and I know that could change. Does the 5th place person just get it?
It's just a headache for the PDC and let them.
Yeah, do they just pick a 5th place? They pick another wild card, or does it go to 5th? Has that ever happened?
The worst possible thing for them is have someone turn it down, isn't it? Like, at no point do they want someone saying, our big marquee event that we take around Europe for 16 nights, someone has said they don't fancy it.
And it's
as big of a pull as Gary Anderson is when it comes to the crowd, and a couple of nights in Scotland as well. It's not what they want.
And him and maybe others have done it before as a wild card, which is easy because you can just slip it under the rug. No one finds out. It doesn't get publicized. But if he's just sitting there in 3rd and he's not playing in the Premier League, like, yeah, that's a bad look. And again, it's like the I don't care thing. I don't know if he maybe changes his mind if he gets to the final or if he wins it. Like, you never know. But I'm pretty sure he said recently, even, I don't know if he said it tonight, that he's not interested. But
yeah, apparently you mentioned it on TalkSport that he's not doing it. He doesn't fancy it. But I mean, it's a hell of a lot of money to turn down. Yes, that's easier when you've got potentially £1 million in the bank from winning this one just a couple of months prior. But yeah, it's still a lot to turn down for one last sort of farewell tour.
I think he declines it, but the PDC will put a spin on it and say they're changing it up, and it's not the top 4 in the world, and here are 8 random names: number 1, 2, 4, 5, and 4 wildcards.
Unless he wins the entire pot, and then there's no way you can make any justifiable argument for not including the reigning world champion.
I don't think he wins the entire pot. I think he makes it to the final.
No, I think it's unlikely that he's getting more and more likely that he wins it with every round that passes. But I do still think at this stage it is unlikely that he does win it. Yeah, but if he did go on and win it, then it's a serious headache for them.
Yeah, but sorry, just I digress there. Back to tonight. What I saw in that game was one player who really wanted to win the game and another player wasn't too bothered. And bizarrely, I thought Gary Anderson was the one who really wanted to win the game. It was good to see. It feels like he's got that hunger back. It feels like he's in a place where he's content with darts, but feels like he's got more to give, or has got something left in the tank. And this could be, I don't want to say the swan song, because I think he's around for a bit longer, because I'm sure he said he's played till his 60 if he has to. But the one big hurrah, and what a way to do it! What a way to do it! Yeah.
I mean, I think he's never going to have a better opportunity again, I wouldn't say, than he's got right now in the last 8 where he's positioned. It's going to be very difficult for him to get to this position again and have this opportunity. So, yeah, it's one of those that he's going to have to try and take advantage of.
If you're him and you so-called don't care, and the ranking doesn't maybe matter to you as much if you're going to retire in a few years anyway, play in the Premier League and just skip everything. Skip the Euro tours. Like, don't do these. You have a lot of these guys.
The Euro tours for the last.
Yeah, he's been doing that anyway, and I know he dabbled a little bit this year. Yeah, so I just, if you're like, I would imagine there's going to be more money in doing the Premier League, and it's less of a headache because it's just one night. You're playing. You know who you're probably going to play. You're not in a random. Yeah, I mean, I guess you are, but you're probably a little bit more pampered at that than you are on a Euro tour.
I'd agree with you on that. I think it's a lot easier
on easier locations as well.
And
really.
Yeah, exactly. And you're in these massive crowds. You're getting more publicity. Not that Gary Anderson needs more publicity, but so I don't know. It doesn't add up for me. I guess I would love to see him in the Premier League, but
yeah, definitely. We'd all would. We all just want to see him everywhere. Let's be honest. Like, I want to see him throwing in my local pub every night. Like, I just want to watch Gary Anderson throw darts because he has got just the nicest throw in the world. It's just beautiful to watch.
Mm-hmm.
The way they go in, the scoring, just all of it. Like, I just want to see it over and over again. So I want him still playing in the Premier League when he's Paul Lim's age.
Not sure I'd pick him for my pub team. He doesn't care enough about that. I want committed players, not
doesn't have the hunger.
Bothered. These
You've got a very different pub team to me. we are very committed to pints and less committed to the darts on my team.
Same. Darts is a bonus.
That's it. Right, let's listen to Gary then. Let's see what he had to say afterwards.
No. I've got to get the next game passed first. If I get to the final, I've got a chance. But if I don't get there, then I've had a good run. You know, like I say, getting past the first round in this tournament now, with the talent that's coming through, it's I'm quite happy with what I've done. Listen, you hear too many people talking. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm not. I'm here to play each game, and we'll take it a step at a time. Oh dear. Nice weather outside, isn't it? It's lovely. I thought it'd been snow by now, but the sunshine was out today, and it was great. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
I wonder what that last question was.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but
he sounds like, I don't know. He sounds like he's just teetering. Like, I don't know. I wonder if like the magic of the moment, if he's able to get to a final or win it. I don't know. I'm dreaming. I just want to dream a little.
We're all
I feel like the last question was, do you fancy visiting 16 different cities on a Thursday night? And he dodges it by discussing the weather. What a British thing to do.
We love a discussion about the weather. So on to the final game of the day and the final game of 2025 in the PDC. Luke Humphries with a little scare early on, Dave, in this one. Coming up against Kevin Dukes, who put in a absolutely blinding first set. I think it was 112 average almost to win that first set 3-1. But from there onwards, he just imposed himself on the game, did Humphries, and never let Dukes back into it, did he?
Yeah, I thought Kevin had a real shot here because he's just proven at Worlds last year and this year, Michael Smith last year, Nathan Aspinall previous round, that he's kind of this giant killer. Like one of those players where the number next to his name in the order of merit does not reflect his ceiling and his skill level. And for some reason, he just gets up for this tournament. So I thought he had a real shot. I definitely thought he had a real shot after how he played in that first set. And, you know, that's what makes these guys who are, you know, top 4, top 8, top 16 in the world so good, is that over the long format, and Luke Humphries says this all the time, I'm going to be more consistent than you. You can bang me out for a set, a handful of legs, but I'm going to be able to, you know, maintain my level for a long time, and you're only able to maintain it for a short time. And that's kind of what we saw. Kevin had some really erratic darts towards the end of this match and couldn't quite keep straight. Looked like he was losing his timing, which was hard to see because he played so well, and we were hoping we were going to get a real kind of cracker to finish the night off. But yeah, credit to Luke. He showed up and got it done, and had some pretty good legs mixed in, and showed that, you know, he's, like I said, I'm just slightly doubting on who should be favored in that quarterfinal with him and Jan van Veen, but he quickly reminded me just after Jan had a really good showing that he is the number 2 in the world, and, you know, he's playing as good as anyone in the tournament. Yeah,
really, really strong performance from Humphries. He felt a little similar to the end of the game for Harrison, this for Dukes. It just, again, felt a little bit like he just ran out of steam, and as sort of Dave alluded to, the timing of the throw was off slightly. They were just a bit weak going in the board. There's someone going in at all sorts of funny angles. It looked like me throwing rather than Kevin Dukes, for some of them, like where it's just not coming out the hand at the right time. And yeah, it just felt like it all just got a little bit too much for him up there, up against someone who, let's be honest, there's them top 3, like we say, we've mentioned already, and they are well above everybody else.
Yeah, I think what we saw from Dutz was the adrenaline of that big win against Aspinall yesterday. Yeah, he held it together for the first set, but then he just couldn't maintain that level. And I think the longer the game went on, what Humphries is very good at is pouncing on a bad visit or a missed start or a double. And once he gets his teeth into you, that's it. Then he will just beat you leg after leg after leg. And it was a bit brutal at sometimes. Those last two sets, Deuce just didn't want to be there because nothing was going right for him, and he looked lethargic. He looked like a seven-setter the day before had taken his toll, and it was just, it was probably more one-sided than I thought it would have been had he had maybe a day recovery in between both matches and a chance to come down from that high of beating Aspinall, especially the way he played in those last two sets yesterday. But again, what we need now from him, though, is to see this sort of game, maybe not tonight's performance, but up until this point throughout the year, and that he can climb up the rankings, probably closer to where he should be, as opposed to sort of just sitting around the top 40 sort of in the rankings. But Humphries is just, every time you think he's in trouble in a tournament, he puts in a performance that just reminds you, yeah, I've won this, I've won everything, I'm world number 2 for a reason, write me off for your peril. And I think New Year's Day, that quarterfinal, could be something special. And I think it could be a game we talk about for years to come, and for all the right reasons.
Yeah, it just feels like one that's not going to disappoint, doesn't it? We haven't got a clip yet from Luke Humphries, the hardest working man in darts. He's still there at the venue. He was in the back end of the stream somewhere, but not at his laptop. But he left it open. He has moved that now, so we might get it soon potentially. If we do before the end of the show, then obviously we'll play it. But for now, that does put us into predictions time, and only got 4 to predict now. We have got the running order for it as well, so I'll just run through that quickly now. We start off on the 1st of January with Ryan Searle up against Johnny Clayton. So straight in for you, Gerwen. No rest. Off the back of the New Year's celebrations, you will have 12:45, Ryan Searle, Johnny Clayton. Followed by, in the afternoon session, Gary Anderson up against Justin Hood. And then we've got Littler Ratajski opening up the evening session. And clearly the PDC think this is game of the tournament so far as well, because Humphries Van Veen is the main event, the final game on the evening of the 1st of January.
I personally have reversed the order, but that's just my opinion.
Johnny Clayton should always be straight in there, shouldn't he, as the main event?
Well, I guess maybe they put him on early so that they get the viewers in for the day. Then that's why they put him on first.
Yeah, it's a bit like finals day in the T20 Blast. If on the rare occasion that the Jarlath lot from Birmingham make it to finals day, they always stick them on first so they get everyone in early and make sure that everyone spending the money in the bar. So
get the crowds in, exactly.
Time. So everyone in the chat room all already absolutely flying in the chat room with the predictions, but I haven't even played the graphic yet.
No.
Is that new?
That is new. Have you not been watching?
No, I missed predictions last night. I had to step away, so I guess I missed that. Oh, look at us. We look so professional.
I should have seen my face, Dave, the first time we had it. I was like,
oh yeah, I snuck it the first night as well without him knowing either.
Kid at Christmas job.
I was like, where's that music coming from?
That's it. So yeah, if you are trying to get involved and you are trying to get your predictions in the chat room, then and you're not able to, there's a reason for it. It's because you have not clicked the subscribe button. So make sure you do, and make sure that you can get involved, because I mean, it's been absolutely rammed the last couple of nights with comments. I've had the pleasure of being able to sit back and let Dan Simpson do it, but it is me in charge tonight, so I'll try my best to get through all of your predictions. As the Welsh correspondent, we will come to you first, Carwyn. Obviously, first to 5 now, best of 9. Ryan Searle, Johnny Clayton. Which way are you going, and why is it Johnny Clayton?
Well, this is the toughest. Why can I not go against the Welshman pick so far this tournament? I feel like because I've been very impressed with Searle. The only thing I will say, he's yet to be tested. He's yet to be put under pressure. He's yet to drop a set, and I'm hoping when he loses the first set on New Year's Day, his bottle goes and he's clinging on. I feel like he puts a bit of a fight back, but Clayton's too far ahead. And Johnny Clayton makes it to the semi-final with a 5-3 win.
There we go. Dave, are you on the same side, or are you going in favour of heavy metal?
I think you could probably say it for both of the afternoon matches, but I think especially for this one, I think it's rare where the not underdog, but I actually believe Ryan Searle is favored from what I'm seeing right now, which is a little surprising. But the lower seeded player, I think, dictates how this match goes. I think Ryan Searle, whichever Ryan Searle shows up, dictates what happens in this match, because I just think and we've talked about this before, his band of outcomes is so much wider than Johnny's, where Johnny is, I don't think he's going to absolutely blow Ryan out of the water, but if the Ryan Searle that we usually see this deep into tournaments shows up, it could happen. That's the only. Ryan Searle is like a rug pull where you see him dominate early in tournaments, and then he gets to a point and he'll throw up like an 87 and get absolutely steamrolled. And you're like, where was the guy that we just saw for the past few weeks at this tournament? That's my only concern, especially I'm very surprised, not very surprised, but a little surprised he's a favorite and it's not only closer. I see him at 8-11 here. I'm going to go Johnny 5-3 very reluctantly. I just think if Ryan has any of those moments where he's switched off, and he said the other thing he's mentioned in recent, I believe he mentioned this yesterday or in one of his recent press conferences, is that his biggest struggle is his focus. He switches off for a few legs, a set. At this stage, you can't, if you lose focus, this is a long format. Like it can, catch up to you quick. So I think Johnny's got his eyes on whatever prize, the 8 different things that he's playing for, and yeah, I'll take him 5-3. But man, if Ryan shows up, I could see this swinging heavily the other way.
Yeah, I think it is a bit of a toss of a coin, this sort of game, and I'm just not sure which way I think it's going to go either. I've been really, really impressed with Ryan Searle, and kind of want the Ryan Searle dream to continue and the love affair in the chat room of Ryan Searle to continue. But I picked Johnny Clayton to go very deep in this tournament at the start, and I still think he will. And I think he will just be that little bit more reliable when he needs to be. And I think he gets over the line. But 5-4, I think it goes deep, this one.
I love how I'm the least confident with Johnny winning. As in, yeah. I honestly thought it'd have been me against Searle completely. So thanks, gents.
If it's you against Searle, I think Searle wins comfortably. I think it's 5-0.
5-0, yeah. I may get a dad double if I start on the own.
I do think like experience as well deep into tournaments may play a factor here. I mean, Ryan said before his round of 16 match, this is the biggest match of my life. He said that, and that just makes me wonder. And he handled it with poise, and I don't know if nerves even gets to him with how much of a veteran he is. But Johnny's played in matches of this caliber before, so I just wonder if that plays into it, especially just the marathon of it. I don't know the last time Ryan Searle played in a match this long.
No, that's it as well. And I think, like, for me, it's definitely a game that I feel, looking at it, like Ryan Searle is playing better than Johnny Clayton at this tournament. That is not a doubt whatsoever. I think I'm just swayed by the fact that, as you mentioned, Paddy Power have got Johnny Clayton at better than even money to win this game, and I think that's ridiculous. I think that is far too high on him, and I think it's one that I will absolutely want to take advantage of. In the chat room, then let's fire through them because there are a million of them. Dan Lucas has got it Clayton 5-3. Video Smurf's got it 4-1 for Searle, so I'm assuming he doesn't want this game to end and it's just going to go on forever because he's only got to 4. Searle 5-4 for Jack. Clayton 5-3 for Bobsy. We've then got Jim at 5-3 for Searle. Andy's got it 5-2 for Searle, as has Ducky Baker. Dan Valentine's got it 5-4 for Searle. Max has got it 5-4 for Clayton. He's a member, so he obviously knows what he's talking about. You can be a member as well, and then we'll just tell people that you know what you're talking about just because you're a member, because we're nice like that. Paddy has got it 5-3 for Searle, has Alan and Bob with the same prediction as well. Kieran's with us. He's got Johnny Clayton winning 5-3. Searle 5-4 for Dan. Kay's got it 5-4 Searle as well. Video Smurfs updated his to 5-1 for Searle. He's got it very one-sided in that one. Daz has got it 5-3 for Clayton. Absolutely, he's got it Searle 5-2. He's even apologised to you there, Carwin, for doing it.
He's apologised.
Searle 5-3 for Murdy and 5-2 Searle for All Boxed Up. Nico's got it 5-3 for Searle. And Robbie's got it 5-3 for Searle as well. Bob says you really want 115 predictions. No, as you can probably tell from what's going on right now, I do not, but I'm more than happy that you're all getting involved and I will endeavour to call them all out. Malachi's got it 5-4 for Clayton. Searle 5-4 for Jimmy. He's also apologised to you. There's a lot of people that apologise.
They understand.
Yeah, they know how big this is for you. Never mind Johnny Clayton. 5-1 Clayton for Kevin. And I think that is everyone for the first game. Thank God we've only got 4 of them and not 8 as we've had at some point during this tournament. And we go on to second game of the day then. And it is Gary Anderson up against Justin Hood. And your turn first on this one, Dave. Which way are you going?
I know I said I'm not going to do this anymore.
But you're going to do it again. We love it. Consistency is key on this show.
Yeah, I can't. I just can't see it happening again. It can't go on like this, can it?
It can.
Yeah, oh God, this is so brutal.
As you can see in the chat room, Phil Barr's still in the Palace and clearly got sod all else to do. I can see him smiling in the background now. He's throwing the Gary chant into the chat room for everyone to see.
I'm going to go Gary, and I think I'm going to go Gary 5-2. I'm going to go pretty heavily, Gary. I have no reasoning. I just think it has to run out eventually. It's like watching a roulette wheel hit black 10 times and you just keep betting red.
That's it. It has to change at some point. Sure.
I don't know. That's like my only reasoning. I don't know how you say either side with any conviction from what we've seen in the last 2 weeks of this tournament, but I'll say Gary 5-2. Experience is the one thing I'll reference, is that Gary's obviously been in this situation so many times, and this is all new for Justin, and I just wonder if that might just get the best of him.
Owen, are you agreeing with Dave, or are you finally moving over to the Hood side?
No, agreeing with Dave, and the reason being, up until now, Justin Hood has beaten very good darts players, but I feel like Gary Anderson is slightly different in the fact he'd have probably grown up, Justin Hood, as in he'd have seen Gary as sort of idol, as in a darts player he's looked up to and what he's done in the game, and it's sort of there'll be a different mentality because sort of in Kenny Noppert, Ryan Meikle, and Josh Rock. Yes, very good darts players, but Gary's on a pedestal, and he's just somebody people of that sort of age bracket will have grown up worshipping and loved watching. And I think, I'm not going to say he gets starstruck because he's beaten him on the floor, but I think it does affect his game and he doesn't reach the levels we've seen him throw. He wins sets because I don't think Gary likes to win by nilling people.
Hasn't done at any point in this tournament so far.
No, and just to be different to Dave, I'll say 5-3, but I do think it'd probably be 5-2, Gary.
Yeah, I just can't bring myself to pick against Gary Anderson. I've been really impressed with how well he's played so far, and that's not to say I've not been impressed with Justin Hood. He's been fantastic. He's been an absolute revelation at this tournament, but the standard of games that Gary's already come through in Adam Hunter, who pushed him and played well in the first game, Connor Scott, who was excellent against him, Jermaine Watamena, who absolutely pushed him within an inch of his life in that game, and then obviously coming through Michael Van Gerwen. It's just, he's come through players at a higher level and people that are really performing at their best. And I know that Hood's done that with Noppert and Rock as well, but for me, I just think that Gary's too experienced and he's too good and he's playing too well right now to get beat here. And I think he wins 5-2. I'm going to agree with you, Dave.
And I think that I keep going back to this because I feel like it's the last time I saw him this up for it when it comes to a tournament was the 2024 Slam semifinal against Littler. That was, I believe, like 16-15. Where they were just back and forth, and Gary looked like he was just up for it. And I just think he's starting to, like I said, he feels like at this point of his career, a bit of a snowball where, yeah, you can get him early because he's just this, maybe not too interested, but as he picks up steam, it's a runaway train. And I think we're at that point where he's starting to see, now that he's past New Year's, he's starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel and things, looking around the room thinking like, I could beat any of these guys.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that one. In the chat room, what have we got? Alan straight in there with 5-3 Ando, as is Robbie. 5-2 Anderson for Dan. 5-3 Ando for Dan Valentine. Anderson 5-3 for Jack. Thinks that Hood could be a threat. I think we all think that. I think we're all sort of in that corner that we think that he's definitely a threat, but I just think Anderson will come through it. Dan Lucas has got it 5-3 for Happy Feet. He thinks the Chinese dream continues. Anderson 5-3 for Bobsy, who thinks missing doubles more often than today. Well, it'd be difficult not to, certainly for the first 11 legs at least. Hood 5-4 for Absolutely. Gary's 5-3 for Jim. The Maddox got it 5-3 for Anderson as well, as is Maliki and Max as well. 5-2 Ando for Paul. Andy's got it 5-0. I cannot see. I just think Justin Hood's too good to get done to nil at this stage. Gary 5-4 for Kieran and Ducky Baker with the same. Kay's thinking the experience tells for Anderson. He wins 5-3. As is Bob, just Bob. Dan's got it 5-1 for Gary. Paddy's got it 5-4 for Gary. Nico 5-4 for Gary as well. 5-3 for Justin for All Boxed Up. Dan Valentine says you're banking on Hood getting nervous. Good luck. I'm not banking on getting nervous. I think he'll turn up and play his game, but I just think Gary will be better on the day. And Murdy's got it Ando 5-3 as well. Before we get into the evening session, he's done it again. The hardest working man in darts has got us a clip from the world number 2, Luke Humphries, after his win this evening. So let's have a listen to that, and then we'll get into the session that includes him.
100%. Yeah, it's amazing. I think Gary is like, it's like everybody's idol in a way, and you look up to someone like him and Adrian Lewis, the fluentness, the just the easiness they make it, and I'd love to play Gary in the semis because. Not because I want to beat him, just because it's a legend, you know what I mean? So darts is in a good place, to be fair. There's a lot of good players playing him. Josh, Gian, Gary's playing good. You know, I just think there's a lot of good players. I think there's going to be a headache for the Premier League this year. It's going to be a tough ask for people to pick that, is the top people. I always keep telling him, keep nudging his arm. Come on, Gary, just one more. Just give the fans one more, and he's adamant he's not going to do it. But yeah, I think it would be great to see him just have one more.
We agree. We absolutely agree with that sentiment in its entirety from Luke Humphries. And so you're into the evening session, and we start off with, for once, not the main event in a session. Luke Littler opens up the session up against Krzysztof Ratajski. Krzysztof's played well in this tournament, really, really well in this tournament. And he comes into a World Championship quarterfinal as a 9-1 underdog. It's utterly ridiculous, isn't it? But do you see that being the case, Carwin? Is he rightfully a 9-1 underdog, or can he push Luke close, or even get on the right side and beat him?
Unfortunately not, as in I think he's had a very good tournament, and I think he's probably gone further than most people have expected before a dart was thrown. I just think, I don't think there's anybody on that side of the draw that can get close to Luke Littler. And that's a big statement coming from me, considering
I was going to say, not even Sir Jonathan of Clayton.
Not the way they've played, not the way Littler's played. And I know there may be 3,500 Polish Eagle fans at Ali Pali for 40 minutes or so on New Year's Day. I just feel like it doesn't bother Littler enough that the crowd are against him. And I think it's going to be 5-1 Littler. Ratajski may make it 1-1, and then from there, it's all Littler.
Yeah, I've just had a little look with the sponsors and our sponsors, Paddy Power. Ratajski to win 2 sets at nearly 2-1 looks relatively good value with how well he's played so far, especially in this sort of a game where he's going to get a good couple of chances on his own throwing sets. I think it's not a bad price whatsoever. But Dave, what are you saying on this one? Where are you going?
Yeah, I'll go 5-2, as I said earlier. The one thing, kind of what Carwin touched on, and I know some people in the chat are touching on, is the last time we saw Luke against up in front of a crowd that is like vehemently against him was when him and Cool Hand Luke crapped their pants at the World Cup of Darts against Germany. And they both, it wasn't just an off, like they both looked very rattled. Luke looked like a deer in headlights. And we, even at his World Championship debut, we never saw him look like that. He never looks like he blinks. He never looks like he gets, that was the one time where I was watching him and I was like, he looks petrified up there. And I just wonder, because it didn't start out that way, it kind of went that way throughout the match. If when he does his walk on and maybe he gets some boos, I have no idea what to expect. It could totally happen, but maybe some whistling gets involved. He has shown, because he's 18 years old, he's shown a propensity to get a little too involved maybe with that, where it can take him off of his focus of the match and he's more playing towards the crowd. So I just wonder if I don't think that will impact him at this stage. I just don't think Krzysztof has the levels to compete. But because of that, and Krzysztof is very consistent, I'll give him 5-2. And that's just a little storyline I'll be watching, from here and beyond, because I think it's very easy to root against him when he's so dominant. He's going for back-to-back. People want to see something new, and he's kind of, making an enemy out of the crowd and the fans. So that is a fun little wrinkle that I did not expect coming into this tournament.
Yeah, I didn't sort of have that as being one that we were going to see. I expected him to be sort of a crowd favourite as ever, as he has been since he sort of first showed up a couple of years ago. But like I say, we don't know what we're going to get, but I think there will certainly be a lot more mixed than what we might have thought it would be. I think Ratajski can push him relatively close. We've seen him push him relatively close at the UK Open earlier this year, like 10-8. He was beat. I think he'll be able to keep himself in sets. He'll do enough to win legs. Will he do enough to keep winning those final decisive legs in sets is the question for me. But I think he can get. I think he can get within 2 sets. I think he can get 5-3, but I just can't see Ratajski coming out on top in this one.
I believe, if I'm looking at this correctly, is the first. Is that Christoph Ratajski's birthday? New Year's Day.
Well, that would be a present.
Does that play into it?
Will the Nuke wrap up a gift for him on his birthday? And will it be a gift that he wants, or will it be a 9-darter against him?
I don't think that changes anything.
Yeah, that doesn't change anything. My opinion. I just thought it was fun.
Think he will, especially, the way he gave it to the crowd the other night, I think he'll quite happily ruin a man's birthday. I don't think he'll care one little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like giving him 2 sets is a very generous gift, and that's probably his lot.
Yeah, fair enough. What have we got in the chat room? I think this will be pretty one-sided, but Jack's gone 5-2 for Littler. Alan's got it 5-1. Andy's got it 5-0 for Littler. 9-darter, 112 average. Only drops 1 leg across 5 sets. That will be a demolition job.
That's a real happy birthday.
Yeah, that's it. There's your leg now. Fuck off. Malachi's got it 5-2 for Littler. Max has got it 5-1, as has Robbie. Dan's got it 5-0 as well. Kieran 5-1. Dan's got it 5-2 for Littler. Video Smurf's gone Ratajski 5-4. He is going to have a seriously happy birthday if that is the one. Littler 5-2 for Dan. 5-0 Littler for absolutely. Nico's got it 5-2 as well. Paddy's gone the same as me at 5-3. He's got it a little bit closer. Murdy's got it 5-1 for Littler. 5-2 Littler for Paul and for Kay. Jim's gone for the crowd getting to Littler and a 5-4 win for the. I love that even if we think Littler's going to be completely rattled by the crowd, he's still going to win at least 4 sets. 5-0 for All Boxed Up. Ducky's got it 5-1. Ratajski 5-4 for Bobby. That's 3 5-4 Ratajskis we've seen in the chat room now. I don't think he will be nervous, and I think he will just play his game. He is very much one for doing that. Littler 5-3 with the crowd being for Ratajski, for Bob, just Bob. 5-3 Littler and the most 180s for Littler. I think the most 180s for Littler is an absolute banker. I don't think you'll get much value on that one. And then we've got 5-3 Littler for Mark as well. And on to the final game of the day, and the man that we just heard from, Luke Humphries, up against Jan van Veen in what we all think already is going to be game of the tournament. Dave, your turn to go first. Which way are you going?
Yeah, I mean, I have to back up my bold take earlier. I'm going to take...
I'd have loved it if you'd just gone, yeah.
Just gone, yeah.
5-1.
Yeah, Jan, the question for me and for a lot of people has been, does he have the bottle in a moment like this against the bigger names to make it happen and show up? And he just seems like he's in such a good headspace. He seems like you were saying, he feels like he belongs. And I love how humble he is. And I think the Euro Championship just took a little bit of the luster of the Lukes out of his eye, if that makes sense. I don't think whatever he says, that's fine. I think he sees them as a level playing field now. Like, not that he's shooting up at them, because I don't think he is. He could dictate this match. Like, we could see Luke Humphries be a sort of a passenger in parts of this match, which we only ever see with him against Luke Littler. So I'm gonna go Jan, and I'm gonna go 5-3. I think his game's a little more consistent, and Luke Humphries will be punished on legs sets like he had in that first set against Kevin Dukes, he will be heavily punished by Jan. And I'm going to go with him 5-3 here.
Owen, do you agree, or are you siding with the world number 2?
I'm siding with the world number 2, I think. But I feel like we're in for an absolute belter. I think after 6, it'll be 3 sets all, and then Humphries just finds that moment and reels off 2 sets on the trot. But I think both players come out of it looking looking like the quality players they are. I think it's going to be an absolute belter, and I'm looking forward to watching this game. But I think Humphries just pips it 5-3.
Yeah, just looking at the odds on this one, I think this is as short a price as we've ever seen anyone against Luke Humphries that's not named Luke Littler in the last couple of years. 5-4 for Jan van Veen, 8-13 for Luke Humphries. So pretty tight in the betting, still favouring Humphries slightly. I can't believe that neither of you two have predicted this to go all the way, because surely we just want to see it. Like, I want to see as many legs of this as possible. So I'm having this going all the way right to the end. Sudden death leg. Jan van Veen wins 5-4.
I love it.
And every single set goes 3-2 as well. We see the maximum possible legs.
And that would put Jan, depending on what happens earlier in the day, could be more flip-flopping in the top 4.
Could be.
And then MVP gets roped into the mix. Oh boy,
he'll be Dutch number 1 if that happens.
He will. He will be Dutch number 1 if that happens.
Wow!
And we will all be very, very happy, and we'll have enjoyed a wonderful game at about 2:00 in the morning if they play all the legs when we're still doing this show. Well, for us at least, not for you, Dave, because it's mid-afternoon for you still.
You might have to miss lunch.
It's take past 7 o'clock, as it is where you are right now. Right, what have we got in the chat room for this one then? Robbie started us off. He's got 5-3 Humphries. He's with you, Carwin. 5-4 Jan van Veen for Dan. Van Veen 5-3 for Bobsy. He's with you on that one. Dave. 5-4 Humphries for Alan. 5-4 Van Veen for Dan Valentine. Max has got it 5-4 for Coolhand. 5-3 Van Veen for Mark. Humphries 5-4 for Malachi, as is Dan. Jan 5-2, that's the widest we've seen it from anyone so far for Jim. Humphries 5-4 for Kay. 5-1 Jan van Veen for Andy. He's got it very wide as well. Ducky's got it 5-3 for Jan, as has absolutely. He's got it 5-4, but still Jan winning. 5-3 for Humphries for Jimmy. Van Veen 5-4 for Paddy. Humphries 5-3 for Murdy. Van Veen 5-3 for Video Smurf. 5-4 with sudden death legs for Jan van Veen for Daz. Van Veen 5-4 for Paul, who's also got it as a game of the tournament. It's going to take some to get past that game between Justin Hood and Danny Nopper, but could well do it if it does go 5-4 this one. Van Veen 5-3 for All Boxed Up. Humphries 5-3 for Kieran, and Humphries 5-2 for Bob, who said he predicted he was going to win the world title, and he has to do that after saying so. So all well and good predicting it, but can you do it when it matters? He's obviously done it before, but this might be a bigger test than he's come up against any time recently. Sneaking one in at the end is Tom with 5-3 for Humphries, and that is all done for 2025. This is the last Fallout bar of the year. But it's only a day that you're going to miss us for. We are back on New Year's Day. Just tomorrow. Enjoy your New Year's Eve, however you're spending it. And we will see you all on the other side when we're doing it all again. Fantastic chat room once again as ever. Dave, thank you very much for your input. Carwin, just we love this time of year. The brothers get together every single night.
Exactly.
And carry on this show. So yeah, thank you everyone for getting involved, and we will see you all next year. If I can find the button to take us out, because I've lost it. What a way to end the year.
Introducing the Paddy Power World Darts Championship.